Hey guys, Pavlik here. Today we are just going straight into it because I am too excited for this dungeon and specifically what happens after. Because as you guys might remember, last time we got the Pendant of Power, and with us already having the Pendant of Courage, that just leaves the Pendant of Wisdom, which we will get. This video doesn't stop until I have that, at the very least. Also, should apologize for how long it's taken for this one. I've been a wee bit preoccupied trying to sort that out. So, as I start trotting through the dungeon, I would just love to talk about the absolutely amazing work of the combat system of not just this Legend of Zelda, but all of them. Like in Link Between Worlds, you have the availability of going in and out of the walls. Like say you're down to one heart, someone's trying to hit you, you go into a wall real quick. That is crazy. You can't do that in any other game. And I've recently gotten back onto Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild just a little bit. I was bored one night, and this is really where it all started and had me thinking of especially the motion controls, all the way from even Skyward Sword and that one smaller game, Link's archery practice on the Wii. They all just really started the renovation and the progress of what they've become today. Like if you go back from the very first Legend of Zelda, with such the limited mobility, like it's still fun, simple, especially for its time, but just the simplicity of 5 buttons, 8 if you consider every direction of the D-pad to be a separate button. Hell, the next big innovation afterwards wasn't until the Nintendo 64 controller with the analog stick in the center. Though honorable mention to the Game Boy, but while it stood out as like a technological marvel, it didn't do anything for the combat controls for specifically the Legend of Zelda. So it's not making a major impact on my list, but it did for Nintendo's success. Back to the Nintendo 64, having both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask is an absolute wonder itself. Like, they're both crazy good games. Like, I would almost give them both a 10 for the story, the combat, and the sheer length of the games. Like, I know for like Majora's Mask, say the speed run is like 8 or 18 minutes, but that takes glitching and whatnot. I personally don't take the time to do so, though it is fun to watch. But it is absolutely amazing how well those games were made. You could not say the same for Superman 64. I would never wish that on my worst enemy. Also, I would like to apologize for how long it took me to remember this very, very silly child's puzzle. It's not looking good on my intelligence right now. It wasn't my finest moment. The Nintendo 64 is still a valid purchase today, not just for collectors, but if you want to go back and enjoy what made it special. Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are still well worth it. Hell, I have a Majora's Mask gold cart for the Nintendo 64, and I don't even have the console. Like, I still find it completely well worth with it having the like 3D kind of like what bookmarks do. I forget what the design is called. I'm blanking on it. But when you move it back and forth in your hands, it changes. The picture does. But either way, I'm gonna actually talk about the game I'm playing for a second. I'm trying to find my way to the second and obviously the third floor so I can fight the boss. But I'm trying to stop at every chest I see whether or not it gets me killed or not. This one didn't. Luckily, we got the compass. The compass, if you would. Great reference there. I'm not trying it. I'm not going to right now. But I don't remember if that kills you or if it just pushes you off. If you slide into a crevice, like, yeah, I'm not explaining anything well. I'm gonna end this episode around 30 minutes. I'm trying not to make them any longer than that. Besides the first one, I don't want these episodes to be extremely long. Just like what you'd expect, like a small zombies map, like small Easter egg or something to be in zombies. Something around there is what I'm trying to do until I can get to the underworld, where I can just start doing the dungeons once per episode, something like that. We're almost there. We're getting really close, guys, I promise. So currently, I believe the next thing I gotta do is find a small key so that I can access the next portion of the dungeon. Okay, well, this is easy. Just hurricane over. I don't understand why there's so many of those darn bats in this darn... Yep, and there's the small key. Sometimes this game just, like, pieces together so well. It's almost like it's a puzzle. Funny humor. My small brain is just working terrible wonders. Obviously, I know now that, like, this is what I'm supposed to do and not try to rot up. But, you know, my small monkey brain, I swear if my microphone doesn't stop cutting out, I'm gonna cut it off. So, I do want to say real quick, earlier in the video, I guess, the placement doesn't matter, but, I do want to say my heart is out there for all the people in LA having to deal with the wildfires. That sucks, and I feel terrible for them. But think about how on Clash of Clans the current theme is the ice and fire kind of thing, and my side of the US is in like a really bad snowstorm, and that's all I can think about. I'm not trying to make a joke out of LA, but Clash of Clans has really, really bad timing. It is terrible. But that's all I wanted to say. My heart does go out to them. It's terrible seeing on the news what's happening, but I'm gonna leave it there. Just thank you. So rewatching myself play this is absolutely hilarious, because knowing the answer now and the refresher from playing again just makes it so much more funny at how much I am struggling with this stupid puzzle. Like, I didn't think I could get any lower, but then I do stuff like this, and it kills me sometimes, because I know I can do better, but my brain doesn't think I can. Because obviously, there's something I gotta do with wall merging. I don't want to spoil it, but it's just not kicking in. Look at him. Look at the little guy. He's struggling. He's just going... He even missed the hurricane rod. Ah, there we go. He got it. I love this game. I love the puzzles. So, like, the deeper dungeons you go, there's always going to be a water dungeon. There's always the fire dungeon. Whatever. In the sand dungeon. They always do so well. But I've never had a game that I've fallen in love with more, the dungeons, than Skyward Sword. Like, Breath of the Wild, first time I played it with my Switch, I I don't know, it screwed me up. I just ended up like cheesing it, going through the wall, and beating the Ganons like that. But Skyward Sword, I played over and over and over again, just like this game. I don't know, I just like these Zeldas better. I like Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, the open world. It's all fun, but it just doesn't hit the same. Meeting Girahim in Skyview Temple, for example, in Skyward Sword, feels so much like meeting Yuga. Both are there looking for Zelda, for their master, or for their future plan. And they are both equally annoyed and pissed off with Link the moment he shows up. And equally confused, like, who are you? Why are you here? Leave. And then we don't leave, because we're Link, we are the hero. And we just continue to be the nuisance in their plan. And they hate us specifically for that. And I understand it. Like, if some small, child-looking hero in a green cap that doesn't match his skin tone walks up on me with a sword, doesn't say a word, because he has no voice lines whatsoever, I would get pretty damn mad too. Like, I understand it up to that point. Everything else, they need to just let it go. But, like, for simple things like that, that's why I love this game and Skyward Sword. Because the story feeds into the dungeons you're going into. Not so much with this game. Like, But I cannot say enough about these games. I play them way too much. Though not as much as Pokemon. Pokemon, just one game, alright, I have about 500 hours in. Like, I have a healthy obsession with The Legend of Zelda. I have an unhealthy obsession with Pokemon. But I'm aware. So I'm on, what, is that the first step of 13? Awareness? I don't know. But I use, back to the game. I use my red potion here, which is probably the smartest thing I've done this entire dungeon. But these things are just tanky. Like, I think I would rather fight Yuga again than these things. Because they just go through your sword attacks. They just don't care. And then they have immunity for like a second or two when they're recharging their flames. So you can't do anything. And it's so annoying. I cannot stand them. So I'm like 10 hits so far into this darn thing alone. I better be almost done. There's no... Finally! It's dead! These monsters are tanky. Ungodly tanky for no reason. And there's the green portal. Finally. I've always seen that as like you're halfway through the dungeon or whatnot. One thing I'll want to do before I go to the boss is I'm gonna want to refill my red potion. Because I always see it as being safe, prepared. Always have your best resources available. You know, you never want to go in empty-handed unless you're doing a challenge, specifically going in empty-handed. Anyways, back to Skyward Sword, because I don't want to talk about too much or anything to possibly spoil the future of Link Between Worlds. For those of you who haven't played it before, it gets really good. There's a bunch of plot that you might not see coming. I certainly didn't, to be honest, when I first played this as a kid. In Skyward Sword, the second boss is like this lava meatball one-eyed thing that might be on the easier side of all the dungeon bosses out of any Zelda game. But it's one of my personal favorites to fight because I was trying to speedrun that game for a while because of how much I played it. And I just learned how to beat it in like 2-3 minutes because of the replayability. like boss fight thing when you talk to the lightning dragon. You can just keep going back, playing, fighting, and it was just so much fun. Like, the replayability in that game, regardless of just going to boss battles, is extremely high for me. Like, I can't do that with every Legend of Zelda. Like, I could go through Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time, play it, but I couldn't do it like 4 or 5 times in a week. Skyward Sword, I already have. And earlier in the video, I mentioned going and wanting to get the a new health potion. I'm going to do that now because I'm pretty certain I'm almost to the boss fight, because I already got the green hub portal thing. So I'm going to go outside. I'm going to ring my little doorbell thing to ling whatever. We're going to go to the witch's house. It only plays 2 by potions. If I had an extra bottle, I would get the blue potion, but I don't remember where the next bottle you get is actually. But anyway, so as we continue, we just finally got our red potion. After so much text, that lady will not stop talking. For someone that's like 110 years old, or however long witches live for in this world, I swear it could, one simple spell or curse, and they live like 100 generations. Like Zelda did the one dragon curse, or whatever, in Tears of the Kingdom, and she was from back in time. She lived the current day as the light dragon. Crazy. But back in the House of Gales, I'm just farming some rupees at the moment. I would love, for the boss to just be like right there, like 2 minutes away, would be great. Like, I go to like 2 rooms for now, done there. That's the hope. But right now, as I find my way to the boss, which I think I just have to go up here and make my way through this room. Yeah, I kill these guys. Then I remember this puzzle from here ish. I just have to take this, go in the wall, merge, not get hit by the rat. Get hit by the rat anyways. You know, it's all part of the plan. If this thing doesn't kill me, that would be great. Don't worry. He's gonna politely let me switch to my lamp. He's a nice guy. That was just a love tap. Look at him. He even stopped what he was doing. He is such a gentleman. And I just have to go get the small key, which will be in this room or the one after. It's somewhere in here. But just a couple minutes ago, I was fanboying about Skyward Sword, and I want to do the same for this game, because I am playing it after all. A couple of amazing features that this does, kind of like Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword introduced the boss rush kind of thing that you can do with the lightning dragon. Here, you get to do so many different things. There's so many mini games. Like Skyward Sword had like 4 or 5 mini games, maybe 6 you could play. This, in both the overworld and underworld, which you'll see, has mini games galore. Like, I would say almost 10. It is. I've not played many of them, but it's still astronomical how many mini games they could fit into this one 3DS game. So, correction, I actually just paused what I was doing to go find out how many and what all mini games they have in here. First one I found is Octoball Derby. It's southwest of a vacant house, weather vane, to the small grove of trees. You just talk to a derby boy, It's 50 rupees per time, or per attempt. There's something called Treacherous Tower, which you travel to the Tower of Hera. It's in the underworld. There's Fortune's Choice in Hyrule, east side of Kakariko Village. Fortune's Choice in the underworld. Not gonna say its name yet. It's on the east side as well. There's Rupee Rush, which I think I've played that before. You have to have this certain speed up item. You don't have to, but it comes in handy. It's more beneficial for the mini game. There's also a Rupee Rush in the underworld as well. There's Hyrule Hotfoot, east of the House of Gales. So we might be able to look at that. There's Cucko Ranch, which the goal of the mini game is to run around dodging the cuckoos until the timer runs out, which I'm going to have to play that here because I will ultimately just end up hitting the chickens until they're even more angry at me. I love hitting those things because like every Legend of Zelda has a different version of it, and it just gets more insane every single time. And that's it actually. But as you see, we're in the boss fight, and my entire plan is to just keep hitting. There's no special weapon you need for this besides the hurricane rod or the tornado rod, whichever. You just keep hitting. It's like 3 or 4 attacks per level, and then he'll shoot out this vacuum of air, and you can go on to the next. As you've seen, the point is to just get them all down, so you can hurricane rod. It will suck him up and put you over top of him, and you just whack his eye. I believe this is only the second rotation. There should be one more after this, yeah, so watch me suck this guy up. See that? Now he's under me. No, that was it. That was the third rotation. There we go, everyone. That's the boss. And currently, that now puts us with all 3 pendants. Let's go get that heart container and the pendant of wisdom. Possibly the most important thing from this dungeon. I was in this like weird thrift store in this town I live in, and they had these 3 like tiger eye like gemstone things. One was blue, one was red, one was green, and I bought all 3 of them because they look like the pendants. They're really cool. I'll put a picture on screen. Oh yes, Sahasrahla is telling us that we have acquired all 3. Already knowing that we acquired all 3. Now we have to go to the Lost Woods, because we're going to get what is rightfully mine. Couldn't possibly be talking about the Master Sword. Could he? Could he? I surely hope so. So, every time you do a dungeon, I'm pretty sure you all are aware, every bird you go to, you could skip it, and then go to another, until you save, at least for a while. Those things will fucking go apeshit. Pardon my French. But they will go bonkers and ballistic until you save your game. It's hilarious. I don't know why they're so hell-bent on you saving your game. But instead of putting an autosave feature in. But welcome to the Lost Woods. There's a little trick with the Lost Woods. I don't think every Legend of Zelda has it. This one certainly does. Besides, it's not the crows. Okay, I know I'm sucking with the crows. It's not the crows. The puzzle is to not get lost. You'll see in a second, as the name suggests. So, you have to go through. You have to play the little mini game. I call it a mini game. It's really fun for a mini game. Watch this. We go through the tunnel, and it starts. So, welcome to the Lost Woods. These woods will trick you into going in the wrong direction. We have to follow that one. Alright? So, they're going to start spinning around, chasing whatever direction. They're going to keep spinning. Just follow the main one, which right now, if you didn't catch that, he just went into the right. Now, we just have to keep this up 3 or 4 times, and that gives us access to the Master Sword. Now, you could do this normally, but you have to have the pendants to pull it, I believe. I just know you need the pendants. Now, it says don't follow those 2. So, you should follow them, because whatever direction they don't go in, just go in that one. There's a bunch of trickery and mischievous that goes on. It's simple, at least it was for me. It can be confusing. My first time ever playing this took me like 4 or 5 attempts playing it on the 3DS. I don't know why it kept messing me up. I can't blame it on being a child. I've seen children speedrun a Rubik's Cube. I was just silly and stupid. This one again is don't follow me, but there's 3 of them, I believe. It's this one tripped me up because I was like, wait, yeah, you just have to go the way you came. This isn't the same for every Legend of Zelda game. I'm pretty sure it's randomized. And here we are. It's the Master Sword. It took 4 episodes. Hey, sorry for the silence real quick. I just love watching that animation all the time. Like every single game I play, Legend of Zelda, it's pulling the main weapon, the hero's sword, the bane of evil. It always brings me a sense of joy, and I don't like ruining it for anyone else, so that's why I tend to be quiet around it. But Sahasrahla is telling us to make haste. We gotta get to Hyrule Castle, so that's where we're going with our brand new sword. That has a couple of perks. As long as you have max HP, you can shoot squirrels with laser beams. It's pretty epic. Except bees will hate you. It's just a downside. You know, you might be, fast like lightning, but you're still gonna get stung by a bee. And for some reason our witchy girly friend is not here anymore. But as Sahasrahla suggested, let us go make haste. We're right here at the door, and there's the old man himself. Aha, no doubt, the very blade of Bane's evil. He's saying again, there's no time to waste, brother, just stop talking. It's that easy. I just wanted to waste more of his time. And look at how simple that was. Just one swipe of the sword, evil's magic gone. Even he's impressed. Dark magic stands no chance against the Master Sword. He wants us to save. It's wise to do so. But guys, this might not be the most opportune time. But I'm going to end it here. I hope you've enjoyed. Have a great day. Subscribe, like. Goodbye.